Wake up, saints. Alright. Today we're going to talk about exactly everything in a nutshell, what's going on in the world. Okay. This peace treaty that's going on, that all these countries are, dipping into now and bringing about. Okay, so UAE, Israel, which got made theirs with Israel. Lebanon is trying to make theirs with Israel. What I mean by, and I said that they need to work out stuff, they need to get Hezbollah out. Hezbollah needs to be taken out, and Syria needs to be taken out. All those countries that are right now that are at edge with Israel. Syria's be upset because Israel keeps on bombing Israel. The Iranians sites that they have their troops or their artillery, and then also with artillery that's being moved from Syria into the Gaza Strip. Right now we're going on how many days with Israel and Gaza bombing each other. It's been more than 6 days. So what am I getting at right now? What I'm getting at is when they say peace and safety comes sudden destruction. So right now they're, the first time in since Israel's became a nation again, they're, actually calling for peace and safety. Which gives me to the next point of the third temple. King David, when he was king, they wanted to build another temple. King David didn't have the rights to build the temple. Which comes to today, when when the altar cannot be made out of steel. Steel is short-lived, which has to do with war. Wars, certain destruction, breaking down. So that's why King David couldn't make the rebuild. Not rebuild, but build the next temple, the second temple, or the third. I think it was the third temple. I think it was, third temple. Which King Solomon did because he was more for peace. King Solomon made a lot of peace treaties between a lot of the armies that King David attacked. If you look to today, then President how you say Bibi, he's been more of staking what's Israel, what's best for what he thinks is best for Israel, and everything to have where keep everything, how do you say it, not compromising. Ooh, that's fast spider. Anyways, squirrel. I'm kind of making sure the spider goes there. Okay, good. Right now, Bibi and Gantz They are both, which kind of like I guess you can say sharing power. But come November next year, Gantz will take power of Israel. Will become the president, the sole president of Israel. What does that mean? Well, Gantz is more peaceful. He's more for peace and compromising, which means that if everything goes on the same train track that's going right now, the temple will be built, will be like fully built, probably by the end or the beginning of end of 2000, end of 21, or the beginning of 22. That being said, that means that's when, or the middle, probably, so see here, what 21, 20. Yeah, I say about that time. I think about end of 21, beginning of 22, around there, to mid 2022, we built. Right now, the Jews are practicing the sacrifice, but soon it's going to be where they're actually going to do full-on sacrifices. It's going to be, be used in the temple. Why is that significant? Well, if you read the Bible, it does state that in the first half of the 7-year tribulation, that they will actually be doing sacrifices in the temple, and in the middle, that's when he will actually state that there should be no sacrifices anymore. Who is he? The Antichrist. He will make known nothing of himself, and sit in the temple and say that he is the Messiah. Of course, then the Jews will know that whoever doesn't believe or is not awake when Jesus comes as a thief in the night to take away his bridegroom up. Whoever is still left down and everything was to actually know this is the Antichrist. They have been telling the truth. Why haven't I listened? Well, it's been said multiple times. It's been spread around around the earth that he will be sitting. He the Messiah already came already. He already came. He already died for our sins. The Jews persecuted him, thinking that he wasn't the real Messiah. They were told, I think, that he will save them. He'll be the king. He'll try make way and be, take over pretty much. Well, I mean, in a way he did. He did rewrite the laws, but it wasn't the way they thought, he was going to be. He was the King of Jews, but they had thought that he was going to be to where he can overrule all the other leaders, and that's not what he came for. He came so that we would not have to suffer. We would have grace, because God knew that we could not we couldn't be righteous. There was no way for us to be righteous without Jesus. Jesus bared all of our sins. He bared our cross so that we wouldn't have to bear the cross. It's like that saying, oh Lord, can you give me a different cross? This one's way too heavy for me. It's burning down on me. So he gave him another cross. Another, then still this cross is way too heavy, Lord. Can you give me another cross? Here, have this one. He gave him the other one. Oh my gosh. This is way too hard. This is really a big cross for me to carry. I asked for, something lighter. So then God gives him back the cross that he had, which was smaller. And this is the same one you gave me, God. Well, gave you the next size bigger, and then I gave you the next size bigger. I didn't know what to give you. I gave you back your old cross that you were carrying. We all have small crosses compared to what Jesus had to, go through. Jesus went through a lot to take away our sins. I watched that movie Passion of Christ, and I don't know how anybody can watch that movie without crying. The part where, when Jesus is tied to the whipping post, and he gets the cat of nine tails. To watch his skin rip and pull and blood just like pour out, and his mom is watching and pouring her tears out. She knew was when he was going to have to go through. She knew his destiny. And yet she still gave birth to him. Still raised him. Same thing with his father, his earthly father, Joseph. If I was asked to be a father to a person who is gonna make way for the Jews and the Gentiles so that they may make it to heaven by grace, I don't know what I would say. I really don't know. That's a hard thing. Knowing that your son is going to grow up, do miracles, be criticized by many, ridiculed, mocked. Not even, even after his death, his followers, like us, be persecuted, to go through trials and tribulations, even in the last days. Our faith being tested. Somebody asking us, or telling us, why do you believe in something that you can't see? I can't see oxygen. I can't see this virus. Can you see the oxygen? Can you see your own breath? Can you see the virus? I mean, just because you can't see doesn't mean that it exists or he exists. His proof or God's proof of his creation is out there, out the window. It doesn't come up, just like poof, there it is. Poof, there's a tree. Poof, there's grass. Poof, there's a dog, spider. All this is creation, and yet we take it for granted. Which gets me to the next part now. Okay. Jesus' disciples asked him, how will we know when the end of days are of your second coming? He says, do you see all these things? I tell you the truth, not one stone here will be left on another. Everyone will be thrown down. He goes on privately on Mount Olives. Watch out that no one deceives you, for many will come in my name, claiming I am the Christ, and will deceive many. You will hear wars and rumors of wars. What's going on in Syria? What's going on in Gaza right now? But see to it that you are not alarmed. Such things must happen, but the end is still to come. By the way, I'm in Matthew chapter 24, right now in verse 7. Nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. There will be famines and earthquakes in various places. This may not be the main famine that's happening, but there is famine happening in America right now. In diverse areas too. Venezuela used to be one of the richest countries. Poof. America, shoot. We had overabundantly. Yes, Trump did stop the trading from China to here. He wanted everything to be America only. America was one of the richest countries at one time. The soil was so good. Rain always happened. The only drought that they saw was during the sodbuster era, or the Great Dust Bowl, that is. But this is more worse than anything else. Verse 8, all these are the beginning of the birth pains. Then you will be handed over to be persecuted and put to death, and you will be hated by all nations because of me. Government's closing down churches, but Walmart's still open. People are still rioting, protesting, being close hand to hand, pretty much. People going to the bars and clubs, but you can't go to church. Churches must close. You can't sing, you can't chant, but you can go to dance at the clubs or the bars, or go riot and protest because you don't like the way things are. You don't like the police. The president is too mean. But Black Lives Matters wants to take away your homes. All you white people, they want to take away your homes. like the Nazis did. But they hate Nazis. Yep, but they're acting like just like the Nazis. Eyebrow raising, isn't it? All these things, all these are the beginning of the birth pains. Okay, I already did that. Oh, then at 10. At the time, many will turn away from the faith and will betray and hate each other. Republicans are defecting right now to the Democrats because they think that Trump is too harsh. They think Trump is rude in the way he's talking. Yes, he is. That's the way he has his main mark out. He's not puppeted by the puppeteers. He's force, and he wants to see America back to what it used to be. By doing that, he's not lobbied. Someone comes and says, hey, why don't you sign this bill? Do it my way. That's not the America way. Oh, let's have the people do this. That's not America. He believes in freedom. And with that, he's stern. With that, I mean, look what he's done already. I mean, he's unraveled of what past presidents has done. No, the Iran deal, he should have never done that. He should never crumbled that up and threw it out. Let me tell you something. Iran doesn't like America. Iran don't like Israel. They want to wipe us and Israel off the map pretty much. More Israel, but they want to wipe us off too. They were buying nukes from North Korea. Plans how to make nukes, that is. Under our noses during the time that it was the nuke deal. That we won't make no nukes. Come on now. While y'all drinking the Kool-Aid that the media is telling you about, all this is a sweet deal. All this is Iran's not gonna betray us. They're not gonna backstab us. Are you kidding me? You believe that lies? You're shoving down cookies down their throat and everything, drinking that Kool-Aid. Democrats are laughing. Iran is like, they're like, yep, bring in that money. Pay us. We'll use that money to buy the plans how to make the nukes. We'll buy the plans of, how to hide it so that they don't see it. Give us some money so we can buy off the inspectors so the inspectors don't tell America that we're actually really building the nukes. You think I'm lying? Dig deep. Just shove a shovel. Because I ain't no lying. When he did that, when he tore up that nuke deal, I was like, yes. Because I knew. I don't trust Iran. That's like saying that the bully in the yard, he says, I won't be up with nobody again. Knowing that he will not be able to take no money from nobody anymore. That he will not be able to make anybody do his homework for him. So he's got to start doing his own homework. And knowing that everybody would fear him, will no longer fear him no more. That they'll be able to take over, or be able to have peace in the yard. The bullies be like, yeah, I'll take that peace deal. But you watch, when you turn around, I'll be back at it again. Begin the lunch money again. So I need a new pair of kicks. Get that kid that has a new pair of kicks, something, and take away his, and he won't have no more. And I'll have a pair of kicks because he wears the same size as me. I want to graduate and have the best grades. Get that geek over there, that nerd, do my homework for me still. That's Iran. Believe it or not, that's Iran. And many false prophets will appear and deceive many people. Because of the increase of wickedness, the love of most will grow cold. I'm not sure if you guys seen it, but celebrities are fleeing Beverly Hills, Hollywood. Why? Don't you know what's going on right now? The rioting, the protesting in those areas. Their fear for their own place. I mean, it's... Let's see here. They say nothing, like the money withers away as the butterflies come more and tan. It's like what's happening. It's not rich over anymore. But he who stands firm to the end will be saved, and the gospel of the kingdom will be preached in the whole world as a testimony to all nations, and then the end will come. All nations have heard about the story of Christ, the gospel. Yes, this is the NIV version. I usually read the King James, but my King James is at the church. My other King James is on his phone. I can't get to it while I'm recording. So when you see standing in the holy place the abomination that causes desolation, spoken through the prophet Daniel, let the reader understand. Then let those who are in Judea flee to the mountains. Let no one on the roof of his house go down to take anything out of the house. Let no one in the field go back to get his cloak. How dreadful it would be in those days for pregnant women and nursing mothers. Pray that your flight will not take place in the winter or on the Sabbath. For then there will be a great distress unequaled from the beginning of the world until now, and never to be equaled again. If those days had not been cut short, no one would survive. But for the sake of the elect, those days will be shortened. At the time, if anyone says to you, "Look, here is the Christ," or "There he is," do not believe it. For the false Christs and false prophets will appear and perform great signs and miracles to deceive even the elect, if they are possible. See, I have told you ahead of time. So if anyone tells you, "There he is," out in the desert, do not go out. Or, "Here he is in the inner rooms," do not believe it. For the lightning that comes from the east is visible even in the West. So will be the coming of the Son of Man. I'm gonna fast forward a little bit. I wanna, excuse me. Mm, what I'm looking for is where talks about where he talks about lawlessness. He says, in these times, that is, there be lawlessness, and people will be loving themselves. Lawlessness, the rioters. Never have we seen them. This happen in Portland, in California, in Chicago. Chicago, crime has gone up. That's lawlessness. To me, the looters are loving themselves because they're getting stuff for themselves. I mean, why? Is this bringing back Floyd? Is this bringing back, bringing justice to Floyd? As his sisters and his girlfriend and everybody else of his family said, this is not what he would wanted. I'm sorry to say, but you know what? I'm not saying it was right for the cops to do what they did, but I think I really think that there was actually something that was more deeper than what was going on. They said that one of the cops and him worked together. They knew each other, that is. 2, Floyd had, drugs in his system. I'm not saying that it could have been planted in the system, that they could have, somebody could have probably, drugged him. But, he sure did have a lot of drugs in the system. And caffeine. You mix all together, there was fentanyl, there was caffeine, there was THC in the system, and there was something else that was in the system too. But you mix all those drugs together, and that's what made him act the way he was acting. Now, should he have been doing drugs at all? I always said within if you do everything legal, there would be no reason for a cop to even mistreat you. I've been mistreated, yes. Mistreated twice. One was with my brother. We was walking, to 7-Eleven from my grandparents' house. We're walking actually back to my grandparents' house from 7-Eleven, and got pulled over. Got described as cholos until they saw my ID and saw that I was in the military. Sorry, sir. Thank you for your service. Didn't know. If I wasn't with my brother, and if I was still in boot camp, my brother was walking, I guarantee you my brother would have a smart mouth. He probably would have been on his way to jail. Or at least talked down to because of of being the way he is. But since I was there, it was like, okay, sorry we profiled you. you're good to go. Now, should profiling be done like that? No. Just because a person looks like one doesn't mean that they are. If it quacks like a duck, sometimes it's not a duck. You know, shouldn't get profiled. But these black people that say that, oh, they're profiled. Okay, some of them can't see the back seat. I mean, if I was a cop and I get in the back of a car, I can't see if it's a black person or if it's a white person or if it's Mexican or if it's an alien. You know, the only way I'm pulling that car over is I know that it's something going on. The tailpipe is broken, tail light out. I can see I can see the windshield to the back that it's got a crack in it, so it's obstructing the driver's vision, or they're riding on a tire that's almost flat, or that is flat, or I can see commotion going on in the car while I'm tailing this car. I can't see the person's black. I'm riding in the car all the time, and I can't tell the person in front of me is black or what. You're not being profiled. So stop saying that. The second time I was actually mistreated. And I mean, they had no reason for this. I mean, yes, I was part of something illegal. I went to go watch, the street races in Virginia. And cops came, I think we left. We got chased. And got pulled over. And before we got pulled over, I was getting to where we're going to go pulled over, and I was calling the driver's wife and telling him, hey, let's go back to jail. We're getting pulled over. Blah blah blah. Hung up, pulled into the parking lot of the bank. I had my hand out, showing that I'm not doing this at all. I had the other hand actually out too. They told me to open the door. I opened the door. About 5 seconds later, I'm being pulled out. Pulled. Thrown onto the floor, onto the ground. Should I have been thrown on the ground like that? No. They should have me, been able to walk out like all the other, police officers do anything, to the other people. But, I mean, did I give a fight? Did I say, oh my gosh, I was police brutality, riot in my name? No. No. Why? What's gonna do? I mean, yeah, I could have filed a complaint. Could have done a lot of things. But you know what? Sometimes the cops don't know exactly what's going to happen next. I really don't. No, I didn't have a gun. No, I didn't have no weapon at all. So the cops shouldn't have done that. And the cops on the defense. They don't know what's going to happen. They don't know if I'm going to pull out something. They don't know if I have something next to me that I'm going to, throw it at them. Did I feel mistreated? Yes, I did. Do I blame the police officer? No. It's their job. I mean, their job is really like a soldier. They don't know if they're going to be dealing with a kid with a gun or a bomb. I mean, they have the same thinking as a soldier does in a different country. It's the person's territory. Just like it was my territory in the car, I could have been having something right next to me. Cop pulled me out so that I didn't have time to get something to hit him with. Should the cop, done it differently, had me get out of the car, my hands up and all that and everything. Yeah. But again, the cop had a different way of thinking. I want to pull this person out too, because they're in the car and then the door is open. They have no way of looking in a blind spot if the cop is coming yet, so they can actually hit him with the crowbar or shoot him with a gun or stab him with a knife when he got closer. I mean, come on now. Well, this is all I have for you guys. Times are getting close. I mean, like I said, next year, Gantz is going to be the new president, prime minister, what do you want to call him. He's more about peace. These are the beginning of the sorrows. These are the beginning of the troubles of a pregnant woman. God's not playing no more. He's not saying, hey, let me give this guy another chance. Don't be that person to say, well, speak to the hand, God. I'm not ready yet. God's not playing that game no more. You're either in, you're out. Jesus died for you. He's real. And if you don't know by now, then I don't know what to tell you. But get right with God. Thank Him for everything He's done for you. Talk to Him. He doesn't want to be like, well, you get to heaven and everything, and son, I tried talking to you. I tried, reason with you. I sent you, many things. When you're on YouTube, I sent you a video that was in your playlist. Not in your playlist, in recommended for you to hear this guy named Robert to tell you about me, to have a conversation with me. Did you talk to me at all? Well, you want to come to heaven, but I don't know you because you don't know me. You denied me in front of your friends. When I said anything that if you deny me in front of your friends, then I'll deny you. God wants to talk to you. Jesus wants to talk to you. Jesus wants to have a one-on-one. Jesus wants to know that you have time for Him. That you have a place for Him in your heart. Jesus didn't have a place when he was born here. To everywhere they went. Everywhere, Mary and Joseph went. We don't have room for you. Only one place said, hey, we have a place in the manger. In a manger. For a king. Fit for a king. With all the animals and stink and... it stunk in there. Jesus was born in a place where it stunk. The King of Jews, the King of Kings, the Most High, the Exalted One, the Redeemer, the Counselor, your Judge, our Judge, the person that we will give our crowns to when we get to heaven. Born in a manger, with a foul smell. But you know what? Jesus didn't care. He knew already. Jesus knew that when he came, that he would be hated by many. He was a wanderer. He was a nomad. He didn't have a home after he was grown enough to go and preach. I mean, I bet sleeping on the ground was not his first priority, first thing that he would thought of, anything of when he would, be able to preach to people. I mean, I was homeless myself. So, I mean, I didn't know exactly how he felt. Because, I mean, still people questioned him. The Pharisees even questioned him. Pharisees didn't like him. You know why? Because the Pharisees wasn't even doing what they're supposed to do. They were treating the people, like leprosies. And, I mean, the Pharisees even twisted the words of Jesus. How does a man be born again? How does he go back into the womb? He wasn't talking about literally, a person being reborn again in the womb. Spiritually. Everything Jesus said was spiritually, and the Pharisees twisted it and made it physically. They didn't understand them. They tried, twisting Jesus' words just so they can actually get him arrested or whatever. Finally, they came to the point where they actually had, I guess, some kind of proof. This man, does miracles like the devil. He says he is who he is. Whoever we say I am. When we ask him if he's, God or the Son of God, that he says he is whoever you say I am. Oh, it's coming to a time where they're going to learn, they're going to know, the Jews are going to know he did come. My ancestors crucified an innocent man. Pilate knew. That's why he washed his hands and says, this blood is on you guys. Pilate knew who he was. And still the Jews wanted to kill him, crucify him. Take a place of a murderer. A murderer. Someone who says that they're the Son of God and a murderer. I mean, you want to put a murderer back out there so they can murder you? I mean, a serial killer loose in your neighborhood gets caught. A person says that the Son of God. Crucify him. Who should we give him place? This murderer who killed my neighbor. He just killed him, and he says, I'm next. Free him. Why? This is the world we live in. This is the world we live in now. Then and now. Everybody's living in fear. Pandemic, oh my gosh. Oh no. This is not good. The pandemic's gonna get me. If I don't watch it, the pandemic's gonna get me. I better do something. Oh my gosh. Oh, where is it at? Oh, I think I left it in the car, I think. I left it in the car. But oh no, I better wear a mask. Well, since that's it. God bless. Good night. Look at the signs. They're there. God bless you.